The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more. Like more flavor to go with all the flavor. A refreshing drink after climbing 6 flights of stairs to a walk-up apartment, or standing in the subway station in 100-degree heat. Focus when I have an 8-hour shift, and XXX after I was out all night at a club. Call XXX. Drink vitamin water. It's from New York.
His coin. It's his Achilles heel. It can be exploited.
I know. You called me here for this. The bat signal is not a beeper.
Well, I wish I could say that my interest in you was purely professional.
Are you trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
A girl can't live by psychoses alone.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel. My name is Dave and I'm one of the two hosts of this mighty podcast.
And I'm Rich and I'm the other host of this mighty podcast. You can think of me as Batman to Dave's Robin because I'm dark and mysterious and he's my trusty little companion.
How we haven't done that one is incredible.
I don't know.
The premise of Unequal Sequel is very simple. We ask our guests their best ever sequel, worst ever sequel, and finally their dream sequel.
And sometimes we'll drift off and talk about movies. Sometimes it's just life in general, but you know, it's all good.
And sometimes we do drop big fat spoilers to movies you might not want to see or you don't want ruined. If that happens, pause, flick forward, go make some banana bread. It's delicious. Because on today's episode, we are joined by Hanna Flint.
Hanna is an incredible film journalist. You'll be able to see her work all over the place. She's also written an incredible book called Strong Female Character. You should go out and check that out when you get a chance. And she's also a co-host on the Fade to Black podcast with previous guest Clarissa Lochry. So make sure you go and check that out too.
We're very excited to sit down with Hanna and chat all things sequels with her.
These are Hanna Flint's Unequal Sequels. Enjoy.
Can you remember the first sequel you saw and got excited about?
Oh gosh, I don't know if it's exactly the right one, but I remember getting Aladdin, Return of Jafar.
Yeah.
This is a very common answer.
Yes.
I guess because you've got a load of millennials who like...
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably that one. Because actually of all these sort of Disney sequels of that Renaissance period, I think that was probably the best one. Because I kind of like the way it built up Iago's character as well. And it was kind of,
yes.
you know, making him like hero to like villain to hero story. I thought it was quite good.
Have you rewatched it since?
I haven't. And the thing is, it's on Disney Plus, right? So I could watch it anytime. But I don't know.
I don't recommend watching it again. Keep those memories.
Okay. I mean, look, it's Aladdin. I have a lot of issues with that film. It's one of those ones where you kind of affectionately love things. I mean, again, we'll talk about the things that you affectionately love. But yeah, in the cold light of 2024, I watched that. I've written about it a lot, about just how kind of problematic Aladdin is in so many ways. But yeah. Well, there are so many films to watch. I actually struggle to watch films twice. The film that I've seen twice recently out of choice, like I want to go see this again, was Better Man.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good. And I'm normally, you know, I hear people do these things where I saw that 10 times in the cinema at once. It's like, do you have a Cineworld pass? Tell me you're not paying individual. You've got something to help you out. But I think because I watch so many films anyway, it feels like, what am I missing by repeat watching? She says as she watches New Girl again. But I kind of watch it to go to sleep. I can't go to sleep on my own, so I kind of put it on and then wake up and it's like, oh wow, I got through 10 episodes.
Those people that are like, I watched this 10 times in the cinema. It's like, tell me you have autism without telling me you have autism, right? Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I think the last film that I saw multiple times in the cinema was probably The Lord of the Rings, like Two Towers, Return of the King. I
Have you
think.
done one of those marathon things?
No. Because now I need my sleep a lot more than I'm willing to stay up and watch them that long. Especially if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do extended versions.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a film more than once in the cinema.
Have you not?
I've seen a few.
Unless you
actually.
count Top Gun Maverick when you did your screening for your birthday.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can catch the. Yeah.
Well, I guess because I'm quite spoilt because I get to go to see films for free.
Yeah.
And Picture House really nicely gave me a card, so I get to go to see films for free as well.
Oh, wow.
It's like, forget the Nando's black card. I've got the Picture House black card. It's sick, and I get to take a friend with me. So
I didn't even know that existed, and now I'm really jealous of you.
Yeah, it's my reward for all the years of getting paid nothing from doing this job. Yeah, no, I kind of think what else I've seen like twice in the cinema. It probably about maybe Barbie, because I did a lot of I used to do MTV hosting we did these movie specials, and I hosted a Barbie live thing with Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, and then I hosted
that's really cool.
I was one of those, when you go to a screening and it's like, hey, just a bit of housekeeping, please don't tweet, Warner Brothers got me in to do that. So I think I saw Barbie a couple of times in that way in the cinemas. At
least that's not a bad film to watch a couple of times.
No. Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely a fun one to watch. There are ones that, oh God, you know what? It's so funny when I've bumped into, obviously, I'm in the critic circle as well. So
Nice.
They do award screenings, right? So they do these, and I spoke to a couple of people who were like, yeah, this is my second time seeing The Brutalist. And I'm like, what?
What?
That's dedication.
I mean, I couldn't do it. I'm like, I've seen that film. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, I can imagine it's one of those films you don't have to watch multiple times just to get it.
Yeah.
No.
But I guess tastes, right? People have tastes, and people have different tastes.
Yeah.
So people love 3.5 hours of pure bleakness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really wanted to watch it, and I planned to go and see it last Friday, and I just had too much to do.
Yeah.
I just can't find 4 hours in my day to sit in the cinema.
Yeah. Well, and add the trailer times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, the conversation about movie lengths, and I don't necessarily mind a long movie. It's funny, I actually, speaking of rewatching films several times, that's also a sequel.
Love it.
I was really hungover the other day, and my go-to film, and this, I feel quite guilty now, but it is that I still rate it because I think Avengers Endgame is actually magnificent, and I won't hear anything against it. It's exactly my cup of tea.
No,
and
I think that's fair.
I love it. I mean, it's gone downhill since, let's be real. But I love that goddamn movie. And I sat down and I watched it. I monged out on the sofa. I was like, great. Fell asleep, came back. I was like, yep, know this bit. You know what I mean? You can fall asleep in front of it. You know every bit of it. And I think Ant-Man is my favorite, one of my favorite Marvel characters. And I think he does such a good job. He's got great. That is America's ass. I think he does such a good, he's so good. I love Scott Lang. Anyway, I digress.
It's a fun movie. I'm going to try and land it back with you, Aladdin. How old were you with that one, Iago and the Return of Jafar? Because it wasn't out in the cinema, was it? It was straight to VHS.
And we had it on VHS.
Yeah, I pre-ordered
Mum and Dad,
it.
definitely. Yeah. I guess, so I'm 36. I was born in 88. It came out in 92, the original Aladdin, I believe.
Yeah.
So if it was a couple of years later, say 95, 95. So oh God, what's the maths? That is, I was probably 7 years old, I guess, when that came out.
That's a good
age to watch Return of Jafar then.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you work out that everyone sounded slightly differently to what you previously loved the Aladdin film of? It wasn't Robin Williams. I nearly said Robbie Williams there, and that would have been...
Yeah. God, can you imagine him doing Genie? Please, no. Yeah. You know what? I haven't really thought about it. Maybe I did notice a few things that were slightly off. I think so. Definitely on Robin Williams, you can tell it's a little bit different. But I don't know. I say this now. It's so really. I heard something the other day that trying to remember your childhood is harder for the child, because it's kind of like when your parents, they'll explain it to you. It's like explaining to a drunk person what you did last night. Everyone else remembers, you don't, because you were plastic.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes like, am I just inserting like a modern day memory of thinking like, yeah, I definitely got that. I definitely got that it wasn't. I understand the nuances of his voice, and I knew as a 7-year-old that was not him. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I now need to rewatch it just to see how different it is.
Yeah, at least at that point in your life, you kind of still didn't think films could be bad. Because, you know, there seems to be a period in everyone's life when they first watch their bad film or sequel and then realize that the world is not a glossy, shiny, lovely place.
The only thing I can think of that kind of relates to the idea of someone being replaced, and I loved Clueless, and Alicia Silverstone, she is Cher Horowitz.
Yes.
And they did a TV series adaptation. And forgive me, I forget her name on it, but everyone else was in it except for Alicia Silverstone, and they replaced her with this, and she's not that a bad actress, but it was just like, why are you here? Who invited you? This is not my share. That was a weird, and that was like, it used to feel like, I guess like Live and Kicking or T4, I don't know, one of those things
something
when
like
we were
that.
kids.
Yeah,
and that was like, hold on a second.
Turns out she's in Peep Show. Is that good?
Yes, yeah, but obviously I didn't watch that when I was like a teenager.
What's her name? I know, I can't get her name. Rachel something.
Oh, Rachel. I
want to say like
Blanchard.
Blanchard. Oh, Blanchard. That's it. Yeah.
There you go.
Well done. And that's why you have a job talking about TVs and movies. Hannah, what is your best ever sequel?
Okay. Well, I will preface this as saying, looking at your list of stuff, there was definitely a lot on there that I would have said. There was one on there that was in the worst, and I was like, how dare you? And that was Home Alone 2.
Yes.
There's a few of those. There's a few.
Yeah, which I actually think is superior to Home Alone. Oh, I don't know. I have more affection. I think Home Alone 2
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
We're small but mighty.
We're here.
Yes.
We're here. But mine is Batman Forever.
Yes. I've been waiting for this.
Dave loves this movie.
I was so surprised it wasn't on your list, and I was so grateful in a way that it wasn't on your list, so I get to talk about it.
Because some people just pick sequels they really like to defend. So is this one of those sequels? Like, because it has got a little bit of a bad rap.
It's got a massively bad rap. But it's so interesting because I watched a bit of it because I haven't watched it again. I haven't watched it in ages, but it's one of those. And I think when people talk about it online, again, it's a lot of millennials who grew up in like that era where that might have been one of the big, like I didn't see the original Batman Returns. That was too but this is like one of the first films that you could go to see at cinema or, see with your parents. I'm like, oh my God, this is super adult. And I have such an affection. I had that on VHS as well. I watched that so much when I was a kid. It's just one of those films, and it's so interesting when you look at like the Fantastic Four that's about to come out now, about how much, when you think about it, just aesthetically and tonally, Batman Forever is probably the kind of greatest like adaptation or like homage to the comic books. Also, Adam West, like the 60s type of thing. It just really gets that. Joel Schumacher, he got it. And I don't know, if you're going to start a film where literally the first line is, should I pack you a sandwich? No, I'll get drive-through. Mate, done.
Yeah.
That's iconic. Yeah. Because that tells you exactly what this film is going to be. You know what I mean? That's just such a good line. It's like, hey, we're going to have fun. We're going to make this campy. We're going to make this bold, big. This is going to feel like you're watching an animation. This is going to feel like you're in a world. This is going to make you feel like a kid, but there's also going to be this real dark edge, but there's going to be humor to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that you love this movie because I absolutely hate it.
No.
I watched it in the cinema when I was 14, so I'm a bit older than both of you, I think.
I guess you had to be like 10.
I loved the original Batman. I loved it. The first, I had a Batman lunchbox. I was so into Batman. And then Batman Returns, and I loved Batman Returns. And then this came out, and I was like, what happened? Like, it's not the same tone. And yeah, it was really different. And then I thought, I'll watch it again, because I haven't watched it since I was 14 years old in 1995. So I knew you'd picked it, and I thought, I'm going to watch it again. And I put it on last night, and I was like, No, I still kind of hate it.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, you go, Hannah. Sorry, you
Can
go.
I ask? No, I just have a few questions. Just
I was
in
going
the
to swear.
kind of-
Okay.
So
because it's so funny on my podcast Fade to Black. Amon Warman, who I don't know if he's been on. You should get him on for sure.
we're trying.
He hasn't. We're trying.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I'll kick him up the butt to do it.
Thank
But
you.
he is like the biggest Batman stan. Me and Clarice Locklear are like, mate, because I have questions about Batman anyway. I feel like, the more you get into it, it's like even the Batman Matt Reeves one, right? At the end of it, he's like, oh, wait, no, Batman is creating villains, right? It's kind of, unbreakable. That's what that's about. With like, it's like, you can't have, if I'm like this, I must be opposite. Villains, heroes, they kind of feed off each other, right? And it's like, so instead of going, hey, maybe I can do more good as a billionaire and use that, he'll like, no, I'll go back to running around, do all the fuck I want, right?
Yeah.
And that's, again, and what's so brilliant about that is that it's like, think about that in this Batman Forever, that's in there. It's all there, in it. It's all saying, and there's this idea about the psychology of the Batman, of like Batman and Bruce. But that aside, I guess what I'm asking you, Rich, is what are your favorite Batman movies? Because there've been so many, but like what is, because you said
Rich.
tone.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's kind of like, if this is such a different tone, and I would argue that that is what a director should be doing when they take over something. They should be putting their mark on it. So I guess, is it just because that's not how you like your Batman? You like him a bit dark.
I don't think it's...
This is great.
It's not necessarily 'cause that's not how I like my Batman. It's just not my kind of movie. Like, I just don't like that. I'm not a very big kind of comic booky action kind of movie. And I really don't like Jim Carrey very much.
Get
I find him
out of here.
I know. I'm in a minority. I find him really frustrating.
Well, you know what?
and
Fair enough.
Really annoying.
And in this one, if you don't like Jim Carrey,
He's very Jim Carrey in this.
You're basically Tommy Lee Jones then, aren't you? Because that's how you feel about it.
Yeah, I can't sanction his buffoonery. That is true.
you're like, US Marshals, fine. Two-Face, Batman Forever. No, never.
Would you rather watch the Batman Forever than the Batman, though, Rich?
What, the Matt Reeves one?
Oh, you really didn't like the Batman?
That's tough. It's not like I didn't like it. I just felt it was overly long and overly like whingy.
Also completely sexless. And that's what I also like about Batman Forever.
yeah.
It's horny as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Nicole Kidman is very horny.
Fucking right,
Yes,
she is.
absolutely.
But if you think what you think about that character, I love the fact that her name is basically putting the names of two banks together, because there's Chase Bank, and I wonder, like, did the screenwriter was like, we gotta think of a name, and then suddenly saw, hey, there's a Chase Bank. Oh wow, there's a Meridian Bank. Chase Meridian. Do you know what I mean? I was like, is that how they came up with the name? But if you think about it, she's kind of she obviously is an original for the film, but Harley Quinn was invented in a 1992 animated series, and I wonder if they kind of sort of lifted it off it so they could create their own one, because there's so much in common there that you kind of think, where did that go? Like, because if you think she's a criminal psychologist, she kind of like flirty, strong, all this type of thing. Kind of has like a I don't know, like a dark fetish for like bad boys, and I guess she thinks
Definitely.
Batman.
Oh,
I think blonde. I love that she calls them bats, and like Harley Quinn goes Batsy. That's her whole thing. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
That could have been where they were going to go. You never know.
Yeah.
Like, she could have ended up being Harley Quinn if, like, like Batman and Robin hadn't happened, which makes this look like a masterpiece, by the way.
I won't forgive Batman and Robin.
Nobody can.
Is there
no one can.
Is this maybe I'm misremembering? Is there a line in Batman and Robin where like Arnold Schwarzenegger goes, "Say freeze" or something like that?
That's just one of them.
Okay, cool.
He just says one-liners. He just says catchphrases. That's all his dialogue. That's it. And oh god, they've got a back credit card and
the nipples.
The back nipples. Oh god, yeah. No, I don't want to think about that anymore.
Yeah, I was 10 when this came out in '95, so this is literally my Batman. The first Batman I saw in the cinema. It's like having your own Bond. Val Kilmer is always going to be my favourite Batman.
But he's not a very good
Shut
Batman.
the fuck up, Rich. And
he actually is a very good Batman.
He's very
and also,
good.
he has got you have to think about it. You're wearing a mask. Got a mask. You can see a bit of the eyes, but it's the chin and it's the lips. That's what makes a Batman. And he has got exquisite lips.
Yep.
Like, his lips are great. And he's got a great jawline. And I think he actually really does get the difference between Bruce and Batman. Like, there's different. It's new. It's like very subtle, but there is a real difference, I think, in the way that he performs as Bruce, which is kind of a bit more, I don't know, rigid, I find. You know, the reason why Chase is attracted to Batman because he's a bit floaty, the voice and all that. And when she meet Batman, it's like, I love that thing where he's like, I'm seeing someone. I've got someone else. It's like, it's me, bitch. It's me. Hold on a second. Let me do this. Sorry, for the purpose of a podcast, I put my hands over my eyes. But I do think he's really good. But I also think it fits the sort of tone of the film, right? He has to be a bit straighter than the maniacal characters that are Two-Face and Jim, the Riddler as well. I think it kind of works that way because also he's full of trauma. And so they handle it in a very different way. But Bruce is like, I'm going to keep it in,
And then there's Chris O'Donnell.
Yes.
And I've no idea what he's doing there.
Mean, I see, this is what I also kind of like. I like that they originally have him in a kind of like a Robin, the Grayson outfit, It was a real good homage. Like, so much of this, like, felt, it had the energy. I love, like, Tommy Lee Jones' makeup. I like that. I love the final suit that Jim Carrey wears, like the Riddler wears, like pink hair and like this. I want it. I want to dress as Halloween as one year. But I think with Chris O'Donnell, he's a little bit too old, but I guess it's kind of the thought of,
he was hot then, as in he was very popular.
I fancied Chris O'Donnell. He was definitely on the crush list, 100%. Also, that really weird earring that they gave him. It's so ridiculous. I look back at now, but look at him now, it's like, God, you look 30 and you're trying to play. Like, the bit was like, I'm going to go now, social services have gone. Sorry?
Yeah, you're an adult, sir.
You're getting your pension next week, mate.
You're a fully grown man. Come on.
Grown man. I don't know. I quite like Chris O'Donnell. I think there's so many different elements of this film that really like embraced so much of the fun, even like the way they kind of built this Gotham, which I love that it looked like it was a set as well. You know what I mean? This looks fake. It brings it back to the kind of old Hollywood, like sound stages. I wanted to feel that way. There's so beautiful way they use colors and lighting, like big blues, like bold primary colors. And you kind of get this idea of like, yes, Gotham has got to this excess and then the poorest people are losing out. And it really kind of gets that visual style going on. I think, I rewatched it today. I was like, God, this is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It slaps. I think the studio wanted to step away from the Tim Burton darkness, didn't it? I think they wanted to sell more toys a little bit. And
they did, definitely.
I think Joel Schumacher nailed the tone for what the studio wanted and slipped in, like you said, the sexiness and, that kind of thing, very subtly and very good. And I think the cast are like Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey. I think Jack Val Kilmer's great. O'Donnell's there.
I actually, just to be on Jim Carrey, I just think what annoys me is that I love that performance so much. And I know if you don't like Jim Carrey, but he nails the Riddler in a way that I feel it should have been. When I think that, and also, what's his face? Nolan stole the whole fucking scene from the Riddler. Oh, who are you going to pick? Chase or Robin, right? Obviously you went dark and it was like, sorry, Rachel, you're dead. That was kind of, you have Die Hero there, all that type of stuff. But it's there. It's like this kind of real choices and it was real drama and thrilling. And I think Jim Carrey, he did exactly what he was meant to do with that role.
Yes.
And also, again, that kind of the heightenedness, the kind of the frenetic maniacalness of it that is so in the animated series and on the page of the comic books, definitely that comes out. Even in the animated films, and I would argue some of the best Batman films aren't even live action. They are the Batman films. Like, they're so good. And I just thought he nailed it. I honestly think he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that performance. And I am seriously, because I feel like, I don't know. I think what I also like about it is, I think in this day and age, there's this big thing with superhero films that everyone's so embarrassed that they're superheroes or embarrassed that they have names. The way that, I like X-Men. I like the original Fantastic Four. I like it when they embrace the identities and the aesthetics on the page, All the later ones, it's just a bit like, oh yeah, what's your, a bit mocking. They don't wear the, when I will say this for Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm glad they put him in the live action yellow suit for X-Men, like for Wolverine. Like I'm glad they did it. Didn't like much else of it, but I think, and that's what this film was like. These are comic book eccentric characters. They're all fucked up weirdos. Let them be weird. This is a weird space to be in. I think Birds of Prey did a really good job at kind of referencing maybe Batman Forever as well.
I love Birds of Prey.
And I love, and that didn't
Birds of
get
Prey's
enough
great.
love at all. It's insane. That was so
No,
good.
it didn't.
So yeah, and I love the fact that the new Fantastic Four is going back to this like 60s retro futuristic feel, which I feel like that's what we need now. I think we're bored of the kind of military industrial complex. And we want cosmic. I want cosmic now when it comes to like superhero things. I want to have fun.
But only if they do it properly, because they tried to do like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and their mad multiverse was you go on red lights instead of green ones.
I think,
like,
but I think that's, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And I think that's less about the filmmakers, and I think that is literally the iron grip, the factory that is the MCU. I mean, you've seen it when it comes to, again, going back to why Batman Forever is great, there is a bit of CGI and not amazing not great, but it's practical effects. It's kind of, you see those moments when Batman's going up, with all these gadgets and stuff, though he has like, what's the things in his feet where he's like, I'm going to push this thing up because I've got blasters in my feet that now projects me up. He's got like a blowtorch in his like, I don't know, he's got all these different things.
Yes,
but I feel like, oh God, he's got everything. Oh, I love him so much. Well, I love this. I don't love Batman in general. Literally, billionaires eat the rich. But yeah, I just think the problem is that there's so much of these films are over reliant on CGI and don't pay the workers properly. So they have. There's a whole other conversation to go into about this, but basically, like, I agree with you. But if what I find like seeing in Fantastic Four, I at least like it's trying to diverge from the hyper realistic Winter Soldier sort of world. Like, I like, then maybe not the best, but I like that Thor: Love and Thunder. I like, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I like Birds of Prey. I like stuff that, even that. What was that? New Mutants. I kind of like New Mutants a little bit because I feel like at least it felt different. They're trying to do horror, right? I'm bored of the same movies over and over again. And I'm bored out of my fucking brain of seeing this ultra gritty Batman thing where it's like, I'm basically an incel. It's like, please shove off. There's so many other DC
you're
heroes.
Absolutely right. Like Batman is the worst. And we've talked about this as a character. Batman is terrible. Like Batman could literally solve all of Gotham's problems in like 10 minutes, but instead chooses to spend his money dressing in black and running around the city. But like you say, he's a billionaire. He could fix it all.
I know.
Just but he's Elon Musk.
Also, he's a shitbag to the other. Like the Justice League. I mean, he's a shitbag. He has all their identities, and like, isn't that a big thing in like the comic books and the anime? There's an animated series. It's like, oh shit, the supervillains have managed to find out all the identities of all the heroes, and they kind of kill them all, like replace them all. But it's like, good job, Batman. You're fail safe. It was the real like, it's kind of he's kind of a Tony Stark, but Tony Stark is all fuck Tony Stark.
Do you think we'll ever get a version of this, like Forever Batman again, or do you think we've too much gone to the whole dark, gritty side? Do you think there's anyone going to be brave enough to go, fuck it, I'm going to put a bit more colour like Joel Schumacher did back in the day? I
feel like the world can end and they will still be making Batman movies. So I am sure, like at some point in maybe like, I don't know, 100 years or whatever.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Batman. Because that's what's also so annoying about it. I mean, just think about it. Why I like Batman Forever, it came at a time when there weren't, like, it was the third Batman film. I think, like, I mean, was there any ones before the Tim Burton Batman films?
There was like a TV movie, Adam West one.
Yes, but that wasn't a kind of extended version of the TV series, right?
Yeah,
pretty much. There was 3. Now we have too many. And it's just, to me, it's just lazy IP flogging. So I actually, if they do one, fine. But ultimately, that exists, and I still think Batman Forever is worth a watch. And I think, I'll stand by it.
Yeah, do you make people watch it? Because we had someone who basically made people watch Batman and Robin for a laugh for a lot of the time. But do you sit down like, have you seen Batman Forever? And they're like, no, it's rubbish. And like, here we go. Put it on.
No.
Lock the
absolutely.
doors.
No, I'm definitely not anyway. I said, if it was like, oh, you haven't seen it, let's watch it. If they want to, if not,
If
I'm
they
not going
want
to
to.
force people to watch it. There is, I don't have that power. I shouldn't have that responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. And also, you know what the worst thing is I'd rather say the best thing to do is say, oh, you haven't seen it. Oh, you should. I really enjoy it. And then a few weeks later or whatever, it's like, yo, I watched that movie. It was great.
Yeah,
Great.
that is good when people do that.
Then you do it on your own. Because as a critic as well, it's not my job to tell you to watch a film or not.
I really like that when someone says, oh, this movie's really good, and I don't know anything about it and just go and watch it. I did it with like September 5 just recently. I don't know if you're supposed to call that September 5 or the September the 5th, wherever it is. But yeah, so someone said, go and watch it. It's really good. And I watched it and I was like, love this movie. It's great.
I can't speak to that film because I have big issues and
yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
But
I mean, the actual subject is pretty different. But I mean, in terms of a movie which is about people working in a TV station trying to broadcast events and trying to make decisions about what to broadcast, then I think I just really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I would say watch Good Night and Good Luck.
That's been a movie. Do you miss the? I'm just going to go back to Batman. Do you miss the moment, like in this period of films, when it was like that? It came with a song. It came with like the McDonald's Happy Meals. It was kind of a bit more of a fun event to go and see it at the cinema or watch it on the family.
Seal did one. What was the Seal song? Was it Seal?
The soundtrack was Seal and U2, and there was loads of people in the soundtrack, weren't there?
Yeah, Kiss from a Rose. Mate, what? That's a certified banger.
Yeah, it did have a big soundtrack, didn't it?
Yeah, I love that because even like even things like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, it's just ridiculous. But I also love it so much.
Yeah, it's great.
But as everything I do it for you. Like, what is it? Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, has got Madonna, Beautiful Stranger, which is such a brilliant song. I love it. I bought that on CD. I bought the CD single of that.
I bought the album because I'm really cool.
Yeah, my dad's a massive Madonna fan, so he would just like buy all of them. So I just listened to it. But the single CD, I was like, I need that to play it out on my shitty little hi-fi.
Oh, that's cute.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search. Exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
So good, so good, so good. Great gifts for mom? We've got them. And they're up to 60% off at Nordstrom Rack stores now.
You know they have Marc Jacobs?
Gotta show mom some love.
That is so good.
Snag amazing deals on Mother's Day gifts from Barefoot Dreams, Kate Spade New York, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Waiting for the best deals? Spring Black Friday savings are here. Shop early access now at Blinds.com and save big on new custom window treatments. Blinds.com makes upgrading your window treatments easy with free virtual consultations, free samples sent to your door, and professional measure and installation services. Plus, you always get Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday early access now. Save up to 40% with minimum purchase, plus a free measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
What has been your most disappointing sequel? So it doesn't have to be a bad sequel. It doesn't have to be your worst sequel, but you went in high and you came out low.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, you said you like the Ant-Man, not the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And Quantumania.
Yeah. I was thinking more like,
Please.
I mean, Zoolander 2 was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Because Zoolander is so great. Oh, man. I was so sad about that film when it came out. It's so funny actually because there was a still called Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he said that he extremely regrets doing that film, and he apologizes to a lot of people for playing this like mocking sort of non-binary character.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't worth the 22 years or whatever it was between movies.
But I think
was it 22 years between?
I pulled that out of my head.
But what is always disappointing, I think just to be a broad thing, what is disappointing is that I actually prefer not to have sequels and things because I think sometimes it's like you did the job. You did the thing with that film. You don't need to do anything else. We don't need to. Only if it makes sense, right? Like before Sunrise, they had a sequel, but when they did it, I think the screenwriter of it, she was like, I didn't really want to do it. But then like Linklater was like, we're going to do it. And it was like, well, how does that make sense? And it makes sense because in a way, you're going through the lives of these people, snapshots of these things out. And it kind of makes sense to do it, especially the way that story's being told. There's no plot. It's just conversations. And it is realistic that you might meet someone and in, 8 years' time, I think it's 8 years later, they reconnect. That makes sense to explore. What are they like now? Where are they in their lives? And actually, we don't need to, it's interesting, Bridget Jones just came out. The sad thing is to have a sequel to Bridget Jones or make another book, someone's got to die, right? Because the whole thing is about relationships. So it's like, well, God, you put Darcy through the ringer too many times. Let's get him murdered in Sudan. But I actually do think sorry, spoilers. I don't know if it's a spoiler, actually. I don't think it's a spoiler.
I think we all know he's dead. It's in the trailer that he's dead.
Yeah, he's
right?
dead. He's dead. I mean, he's got a humanitarian mission. He's a humanitarian lawyer.
Oh, he's a good guy.
He's a great guy. But I actually really enjoyed the film. I think they did quite well. But it's also kind of, I could have just stuck with Bridget Jones.
Yeah. And comedy especially, I think it's so easy to get comedy wrong.
Yeah.
Because you can't just tell the same jokes over again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Zoolander tries to go bigger on the jokes, but it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Like they're just not funny.
I think I was thinking about the only comedy things you could do. I always think like, look who's talking too. Which doesn't necessarily work because it got Kirstie Alley to voice another character, the Yada baby or the toddler. Then I was thinking about
it was Rosie O'Donnell.
Was it Rosie O'Donnell?
Kirstie
Alley. Oh, she's the mum.
Kirstie Alley's the mum.
With John Travolta and Bruce Willis is the voice, right? Yeah.
And then the third one with the dogs.
I didn't watch the third one. Also, like Home Alone, right? Home Alone 2 made sense.
Yes.
Because it's like that. But then Home Alone 3 was like, new kid? No, thank you. And also the one they did in the modern age, which was super, not that I had high expectations, but it's like, you can't
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Yeah, you can't really do that.
Terrible.
You can't really do that now, right? You can't really do it anymore.
It was really bad.
Yeah. So I guess my thing is like, I find that most sequels are disappointing because they shouldn't really exist. And it just feels like a way we don't want to invest in new stories because once we make a film, we now own that IP. Let's see how we can do it again. Like Buzz Lightyear, the prequel, prequel stuff like that. I mean,
we'll just pat the podcast up. To be fair, we agree with you mostly. Like, there were way more bad sequels than good ones.
Yeah.
It's really rare that you find a really great sequel. It doesn't happen.
Well, especially when that's better than the
all.
original as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so few and far between.
But, I mean, next year we've got another Jurassic Park or a Jurassic World. I don't know why they're not calling it Jurassic Park now. And they just keep going and they keep getting worse and worse and more disappointing. But I probably found out I didn't like sequels when The Lost World came out. And that's the first, like, really disappointing moment in my life in, like, whatever it was, 97 or whatever it was in that time.
That was Jeff Goldblum and he had a little daughter, didn't he?
It was, yeah. Oh,
we never saw it again.
The gymnastic bit is awful. But then it's just like, they stop that good story in the middle and then suddenly you're in San Diego and you lose the really good character of Pete Postlethwaite and all that.
It really makes no sense to me how... Like, the way that the Jurassic World things, when they have the dinosaurs coming into the population, it's like, sorry, it's America. Isn't everyone packing? Haven't they got the most guns per square feet?
Yeah.
Don't they have an army? Like, they have their military could sort out a few dinosaurs. I'm sorry, but they could do targeting. It makes no sense that they would run around, and also, I don't know, I don't think they would care too much if a dinosaur's running. It's like, right, nuke, or like, bomb, napalm. blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm just saying everything I used to play on Worms. Like, napalm. That desktop game Worms.
Yeah. I was playing it the other day. It's on the PlayStation now. 'Cause it's a classic. Yeah, but so what films do you like? Like, what are your things? And are you annoyed when they make sequels to those things you like?
So I would, it's funny when you get always asked, it's like, what are your like, and I have like a top kind of four. You know what is it? Oh my God, you know what is it actually? I don't know if it's a sequel.
Go for it, we'll try it.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yes, we'll do it.
It's a sequel. It counts.
It's actually fantastic. Motherfucker. No. Smoking weed, drinking beers. Who smells the bloods? We smell the bloods. I love that so much. And they just popped up in a Dunkin' Donuts advert with Ben Affleck as well.
Yeah.
Oh, they look so old now. It's crazy.
They do look so old.
But I'm just a big, like, my favorite films are like Heathers. Yeah. I love Juno. I love like Pulp Fiction. I love Dogma. Dogma is actually a really great film. I don't want to see a sequel to Dogma because it's so perfect with what it is. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see like Good Will Hunting 2. Sorry, I'm like a Ben Affleck thing at the moment.
Well, they joke about Good Will Hunting too, don't they? In Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, but that's mocking. It's like mocking it, right? It's the idea is like, you know,
it's just Gus Van Sant counting his money.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel every time you see a Jay and Silent Bob come back in all their movies? What was the last one?
I interviewed
Clerks 3 was the last one.
I interviewed Jay for like Shortlist magazine for like the last one, and yeah, it makes me sad. Like Clerks 2 was not great. They're not great. And that's sad because it's now you're going to dilute how great the original was. And it just looks to me of like, there's a thing about how that's why I kind of rate like Quentin Tarantino in that, oh God, I actually really wish he was going to make this Critic movie. I desperately want him to do this film because I cannot wait for like the critics around the world to go like melt and go mad about it. After Malcolm and Marie and seeing like everyone pissing and moaning about what you said about the critic, I was like, dudes, it's like they talk about, what's the word? Solipsistic. I can't even say it. Solipsistic. I can't say it. Can you say it?
I don't know. I don't know what the word is.
It's this word. It means like when you think everything's about you. Solipsistic.
Oh, okay.
I think that's like, oh God, I don't know. Can you?
I can barely say hello, so.
Well, there was this whole thing. Everyone was like, oh God, they criticize. It's like, you know what? It's like in Lady in the Water where Bob Balaban's critic gets killed. And I remember speaking to M. Night Shyamalan about it. And he was like, oh, yeah, critics often say, well, I killed a critic in my movie. And it's like, well, that's your place. Critics write reviews. Filmmakers have art. And so they can talk about it. So anyway, sorry, I digress. I'd love to see it. But I love that Quentin Tarantino is like, apart from Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, but that was always considered like one film. They had to spread out. And, we'll get into that when we talk about my worst sequel. But I think it's I think if things aren't naturally gonna see a sequel, just write a new story, bring in new characters. And also, I feel like it's so lazy because often with sequels, it's a way, like, Terminator Dark Fate. An example of like, I love Terminator. I think Terminator 2 is great, but it's also a real problem with how like the woman in this is that she's not the savior. She's the mum of the savior rather than her being that person. And the second one, it's got quite iffy things. And so with Terminator Dark Fate, like, let's get women in here. Hey, let's get these girlies. And what's the worst thing about that movie? It's like Sarah Connor had one fucking job. Keep John Connor alive, and he gets killed at the beginning of the movie. So what the fuck was the point of the other films? What is the point of the other? Sorry, I feel like maybe if I listen to that, people have made the same point.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. We do this all the time, and the worst thing that sequels can do is basically shit all over the films that have come before them. Like,
negate it all. I mean,
by all means, introduce something new, bring something new to us, which is why Rian Johnson's Star Wars movie, it's fine. I like that it brings something new to it. But what I hate is the one after it, which just shits all over it and goes, do you know what? Actually, we're going to take you back to that nonsense that we thought you'd moved on from.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Emperor's back for some reason.
But this is the thing. It's if you're going to adapt material, you have to adapt for the times that we're in now. I always think about adaptation. Adaptation is about adapting to the environment you're in. We are in a different time, and also, like, what are we learning from them? I think, God, Last Jedi was so good. The way it really took Poe Dameron was like Han Solo and pulled a mirror up to him and say, "Yo, dude,
Yeah,
no. Like, this is not how we do things, and you fucked up." And it really gave him a dressing down and really got into like the actual toxic masculinity of a lot of those characters in a really like authentic way. And also this idea, I mean, God, everything, I think Star Wars is basically a ripoff of Dune, and in the book of Frank Herbert it's like anti-messiah complex. The fact that he was like, you're no one, that is amazing, because it could be anyone. That's the point. He really got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson can make sequels because his sequels are like, we're going to take a character. That's a good sequel, when you can take a character, whether he does with Knives Out. You know, the Poirot films, they're different books, they're different stories. The only person that's the same is Poirot. I don't mind that.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think that's going to lead us on quite nicely. Hannah, what is your worst ever sequel?
Well, I mean, get ever, but it's the only one I can really think about, and
it's a good one.
It's a good one, but
it's the right answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver.
I hate it.
It's one of those things where I just once again wonder, like, what does Zack Snyder have, like, on people?
Yep.
Like, what's he got? What's he got on Ted Saranto, whatever his name is, who runs Netflix? What's he got? Has he got,
I don't know.
He's got like secrets.
He's got some incriminating photos somewhere.
He's got it somewhere. I think like Warner Brothers gave him like whatever much to make that even shitter Justice League, just in black and white and taller. I don't know. Bullshit. This one, and I wrote a piece about for the BBC Culture about 2-part movies.
Yep.
And obviously this is a sequel, and again, what I find about it, and it's hard to talk about this film without mentioning like the first film, which is like,
please,
what's it called? The Child Giver, the Scar. What's it? I can't.
The second one's a Scar Giver,
which I don't know why.
I can't remember what like a Child on Fire.
Yeah, something like that.
Something bullshit.
Yeah, A Child of Fire.
Yeah, there we go.
The first one.
Again, I don't understand why it's called that either.
As well. No.
Okay.
This is what annoys me about films that require you to do homework. Right? Everything I should need to know about this film should be in the movie. And the first film,
ideally in 90 minutes.
Yes. And what they did is like, oh, I can't do this in I can't do this as one film. It's like, be better at writing. Be better. Do better. Because I mean, it's all a massive rip-off of Star Wars and everything else. He said, I referenced all these, but you've just, because this was originally supposed to be a Star Wars story.
Yep.
And so
they've got lightsabers
like,
in it, for fuck's sake.
I know. And this kind of, and again, it's this. So I guess with the Rebel Moon Part 2, I guess the only saving grace of it is that it's basically Return of the Jedi meets, what was the other thing? It feels like with Return of the Jedi on one planet and then like Magnificent Seven. You know what I mean? Seven Samurai type of thing.
Yeah, Seven Samurai, basically. Yeah.
Basically on that.
Slash a bit of Home Alone.
There is so much annoying exposition dumps in this. Like,
there really are.
And it feels like I don't...
Well, because you need it, because you get none in the first movie.
But a good writer,
you're introduced to loads of characters that you just do not give a shit about because you know nothing about any of them.
Yeah.
And then it dumps all the exposition in this one.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
What are you doing?
I know. They got like one guy riding around on a hippogriff. They've got Timon Honsu literally outside a Colosseum. How are you not going to put him in the Colosseum? It's Timon Honsu. Jesus. Like, at least give us that nod. Yeah, it just rushes through everything. It doesn't do proper introductions. And especially with like the Duna Bay character, where again, it's that thing with female warriors, like her whole thing is, I'm a bereaved mother, therefore I help children. It's like everyone, there's this habit of forcing women to be caregivers, or if they're not, they're monsters, right? That whole thing with Black Widow about I'm a monster. Because you can't have kids, love. Calm down. Like, really bad writing there in Age of Ultron. Anyway, this one, they spent a first, God, I don't know how long, it felt like an hour of them harvesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to I thought there was going to be a voiceover, James the robot, Anthony Hopkins going,
James the robot.
I thought he was going to say something like, bring a man a bag of grain and you'll feed him for one day.
Yeah.
Teach him how to harvest and you'll feed him for life. Some Lao-Tzu type thing of that. It was just, and all in slow-mo, and it's so boring. It's so uninteresting. It also visually look really blurry to me. I saw this at the IMAX, BFI IMAX.
That's a Zack Snyder thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, my eyes were squinting. Some of the shots from afar, it looked like it just kept on shifting in this really annoying way. And I hate this thing. I don't know if you noticed, I hate films that are doing this thing now where it's blurry, like they give it a vignette that's blurred.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I hate it. I want a clear picture.
I just thought it was my eyesight, to be honest, at this point.
Oh my God. And then, I don't know, I'm not going to say it's totally they're good performance. I quite like some of the performances in it. Because again, I think Ed Skrein in it, he's doing the campy thing, right? He's really building it up. And I'm like, good, have fun with it. Play this really awful, not just disgusting, gross.
Space Nazi, basically.
Space Nazi. Well, that's another thing. It's like, God, how original. Groundbreaking. I will say the one thing I liked is when they went to Stasnes, who's, I don't know what character he is, but he's the barbarian. He's the Conan the Barbarian character.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. It's like Conan the Barbarian. But I think his heritage is maybe South Asian or Persian. But I love the fact that when they actually went to his home planet, because what they had done with Sophia Boutella, who I love, by the way, and it hurts me so much that this is her first lead role in a film. She deserves so much better than this. She's just, oh God, everyone deserves better than Zack Snyder.
Yes.
Although I will say there are a few films I do like of his, but I'll get back into that. But
tell me, because I can't think of any.
I can.
I've got a real dislike of Zack Snyder.
No, wait,
I'm sure he's a lovely person, but I do not like any of his movies.
I think 300's good.
Yeah, apart from the horrible Orientalism, I thought it was great.
Oh, yeah.
Actually.
I have to rethink my whole life after this conversation.
I'm not a massive fan of 300.
I love Watchmen. I actually really adore Watchmen. I think it's great.
I thought it was fucking dull, but okay.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I
really like the comic, the graphic novel, and I think the movie misses so much of what's important. Yeah,
what did you think of the series then?
I haven't seen the series. But basically, what that film should be about is that all superheroes are fucking awful.
Yeah.
And it's bad to have superheroes.
But are they not? Isn't that the whole film?
I don't think the film does that enough. No, I don't feel like it does.
I mean, what's the comedian? He's a goddamn rapist. It's awful. They're all awful.
True. I got that.
I think The Boys takes it and does it better.
Yeah, and Invincible. I mean, I don't know if you watch Invincible, but I think that is probably one of the best.
I haven't seen that.
I've done series 1. It's very good.
It's very, very good.
Very good. I wasn't expecting some of that.
Also, what I like in a film where they show the actual ramifications of being punched in the face by someone's super serum because of the PG-13, 4-quadrant, chokehold, the MCU and stuff, and we never actually see violence. And that, I guess, why Deadpool and Wolverine and Deadpool was quite... And Logan. I love Logan. I know someone's probably done Logan, but Logan's do love great. That.
Yeah.
And I was so upset that... Oh, speaking of, literally broke my heart. Really, I was so upset when they made when he announced he was coming back.
Oh,
I
really?
felt so betrayed by Hugh Jackman, and I still feel betrayed because that was not worth it. Deadpool Wolverine was not worth that comeback. I was so upset. It was a perfect ending. It was the perfect way to finish his legacy and what it meant. And there we go. Sorry, we're not talking about Rebel.
No, I get that. I feel a bit like that too. I'll be honest. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was fine, but I didn't love it. Loads of people really loved it, and I didn't love it.
No,
but I do agree. I think Logan was such a good way to end him as his Wolverine, and yeah, it does feel a bit cheap.
Yeah,
bringing him back.
You must have really hated the beginning of Deadpool versus Wolverine when he's just.
I thought it was one of those things where I thought if they're gonna do it, I think at least they acknowledged it in a way. I was like, okay, he's using the bones. And for a second, I was like, huh. But then it was like, then I saw the rest of the movie and I was like, not like this. You know that I quote this all the time.
My boy.
I quote The Matrix so much. You know, I can't remember the character's name, but you know the one who always wears white when she's in The Matrix? She's part of like the freed people.
Yeah.
And then when she's about to go, she's like, not like this, not like this. And then she gets ripped out. And I'm like, so every time it's something that doesn't go my way, I'm like, not like this. Rami Malek winning an Oscar for Bohemian Rhapsody. Not like this. Not the first like North African Egyptian.
Okay.
But no.
Rebel Moon.
But Rebel Moon.
Okay, I've got questions because the big first one, whatever it is, Fire of the Child
of
it
Fire.
had a big release, a big thing. How was that different to the release of the second one? Because the first one was quite critically panned, and when by the time the second one came out, it was almost like they tried to secretly drop it on Netflix. Was it kind of the same in the critic world?
I'll give you an example. I actually, because I went to see because I reviewed this for IGN. I reviewed the part 1 and part 2. And actually, I tell a lie, I did not see the second one in IMAX. I saw the first one at BFI IMAX, and they had the whole thing. They had actors. They tried to do this kind of like secret cinema, you know, that sort of like experiential experience. Massive thing, blah, blah. Zach's there, blah, blah, blah. And then the second one, so when the other one came out, they had it occurs on Mayfair. Not to shame, but it was like a much smaller budget for the second film for promotion. I don't think they were doing much of it. Probably wasn't that, you know, interview time and all of that thing. Like, they just knew they had to drop it on. And that's what's so interesting is that I think Zack Snyder gets like such a license because he's got such an intense fan base. And I think he got done dirty by Justice League. And, you know, I did a piece for Empire with Ray Fisher about his experience on it. And don't get me wrong, I think it was a toxic set. And I don't think Zack is a toxic person at all in that sort of way. And he went through a real difficult thing with his daughter and, you know, God, heart out to him. But I think it's also because of like the just toxicity and tenaciousness of his fan base that they're like, I think people think that a wider audience like Zack Snyder versus the one who basically tweet about it, because most of the world isn't on Twitter or X. You know, that's a very small number compared to the global population. So I think they're really betting on, you know, and you know, in lockdown, Justice League came out, and I mean, I don't think if it came out in the cinemas, I don't think it would have got the same fanfare. But I think people are desperate for something new to watch or desperate for something different. And I know a lot of critics were like, "This is amazing," but a lot of people are like, "Is it though?"
I think the people that really like Zack Snyder are really impressed by visual style over any sort of narrative substance.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's really a cinematographer.
Yes.
That's what he should, you know, that's what he should be. He should be a cinematographer. He can make a shot look incredible. He just can't tell a story.
No.
You know, his storytelling is so poor. And that's what I love about movies. I like sitting in the dark and being told a story. You know, I don't care if it doesn't look stunning. I will take two people sitting in a room telling me a story with no visual effects whatsoever.
Yeah. But I would also argue that, you know, even the telling of a story, you don't need dialogue to tell a story, right? The Red Turtle is like a really great animated film where you really go on that journey. You don't need dialogue. That's all visuals, right? But I would say, yeah, he's very good at visuals, but he doesn't know when to like edit. He doesn't know when or stop. He uses them so much. It's like, this doesn't, it's meaningless now. This is not, because I've seen this so many times before. Oh, here we go. Slow-mo. Lens flare.
Sit there and go, oh, it's slow-mo again.
Yeah, it's so boring. It's like, stop adding length to this movie.
Yeah.
Have you watched the extended cuts? Has anyone made you do that yet?
I don't even think I would do it even if they offer. Depends on what they offer me money wise. I would not do that for free.
No, we said the same thing. We were like, we'll do it for charity. The price is 10 grand. There we go. We've left it at that.
Yeah, give 10 grand to charity, and we'll watch them. We'll watch those extended editions.
But I think this is my issue of it. It's about this idea of the labor with which we as audiences have to go to see a story. You can talk about director's cuts, and sometimes that's not the fault of the director if they're locked out by studio and can't do it. But it's interesting when you talk about Ridley Scott. There's a director's cut of Napoleon. I don't want to have to watch this movie again to get what the story should have been. It should have been good enough. And I know there's, Kingdom of Heaven. I think everyone talks about that being the director's cut being better than the original.
Yeah,
I actually haven't seen it actually, but I should probably watch it anyway. But I've got other things to watch. But I think it's this idea where the splitting of two is it's real just a money grab. Sometimes even with Dune Part 1 and Part 2. I know you had someone say it worse, and I would argue, I'm not a fan of the Dune films. I think it, again, aesthetically great, but I think the first one is boring. And I think the second one doesn't really, doesn't quite nail what it's supposed to say or what the supposed to meaning of it. And they really fucked up the characterization of Chani. And again, there's a whole myriad of things else. But we have this like Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 2, that was supposed to be a Part 2 and they changed the name of it. It's all this thing of like, how do we get bums on seats? How do we get a confirmed audience to come back? You won't get to finish this story unless you come see the next one. And that's fucked up. It's kind of like they're trying to do it like TV, right? Because the whole point is supposed to be like,
Well, it's because the MCU made so much money.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they do.
Sure. But I don't know, Infinity War and Endgame, but actually that was a really great way to end that film. That was really good.
Yeah. But you can't just watch Infinity War and then Endgame. You have to watch all the stuff beforehand to get to it.
Yeah, but but I agree. But this is why they should have drawn. I've said this.
Oh, they should have stopped.
Draw a line and stand exactly how they do it in the comic books, right? They do. The New 52. That was a whole new thing to bring in new characters. And actually, speaking back to Batman Forever, Chase Meridian came back as a character in the New 52, right? So it's kind of like this is what's so frustrating about the MCU now. And again, all these franchises, we need solo single films. So they can just be that. Like Moon Knight as a series was great. I don't need Moon Knight popping up unless you're gonna do like, I don't know, have like a horror thing, get the horror baddies together and have that little fun little dynamic. I mean, we're never gonna get this Blade film.
No, I don't think we are.
I mean, the closest we're gonna get to a Blade film is Sinners. And I know they're using the same costumes from Blade because Ruthie Carter.
Are they?
Yeah. I found out. Like,
okay.
I think Ruth Carter's like she was on for Blade, and then I think she's had to
adapt.
Don't quote me on that, but I will. Hopefully, if I get
Blade's
an interview, I will definitely be out. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
We're more likely to get a Wesley Snipes Blade than we are this Marsha Ali.
That annoyed me in Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry, but I rewatched the entire trilogy and like Guillermo del Toro, that is a great sequel. That was a great sequel, Blade 2. And even Blade Trinity, I know it's not great, but there's something kind of fun about it. But that franchise made $1 billion. It was like the first superhero franchise to make that much money. The way he was written into Deadpool and Wolverine, as if he needed to make up for that. Blade is the most iconic character. Wesley Snipes is that guy. He doesn't need to I need to make up. He's not Elektra.
Yeah, he doesn't fit with the other two. No, exactly. He doesn't fit with Elektra or the Gambit that never happened.
Yeah.
Like, Blade is a thing, and it's good. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, but my thing is with this, again, just in the context of like the Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2, I think the whole reason behind doing it felt more to me like a studio thing of we don't want to actually write this story properly. We just want to get more people to watch, people to sign up to it. And I think it's actually, we might get a bit more of a backlash against that because I just don't think people are like, I mean, luckily it's on streaming. I mean, it's streaming fine, but their streaming records with Netflix, it's like, isn't it like, if it's watched it for 2 minutes?
Something like that. I do wonder because apparently he planned to make like 4 or 5 of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll get to that point now, or do you think it's dead in the water now? He's going to move on.
Oh, no, I can't imagine.
Yes.
Oh, he's making his Army of the Dead franchise, isn't he?
That fucked up as well, failed as well.
You know what I did like? I did like that one. The Las Vegas heist for the zombies.
Army of the Dead.
Me too.
That was good.
I like that one.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Get out of superhero. Get out of this thing. Come on, give me I'd like to see a Zack Snyder different horror movie, like a slasher movie or something.
I think that'd be great.
I think he'd be
Good
good.
place.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily he's just, but I guess I think we should be able to discern like directors. I think it's weird, isn't it? I think sometimes people treat directors like they're football teams,
Yes.
and it's not like I have directors that I like, but I'm not going to be this person saying make excuses for them if it's about like Taika Waititi. That what was it? Next Goal Wins sucked.
Even the one before it, Love and Thunder.
I don't mind it as much because I kind of like the way they did Jane. Because I really like that character. I like the fact that was from comics, origin. Like, I feel like Natalie Portman coming back. I thought it was fun. I don't know, I like Russell Crowe's Zeus. I think I love late stage. I like plump Russell Crowe now. I think he's really, I love what we're getting from him now that he doesn't have to have like a superior bod, that he's got dad bod, like dad bod, Russell Crowe, like him on a little scooter, exercising things, sold. I'm there. I'll have a sequel. I'll have 17 more.
Okay. Brilliant.
But Next Goal Wins, the documentary, the original documentary that the Taika movie is based on, is 100 times better than the movie that he's made. It's really good.
It often is the case, isn't it? When they do, like, there's a documentary, just watch the documentary, read the article.
Just watch the documentary, yeah.
What sequel seemed like a bad idea, but you ended up liking?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, we have bounced around a lot today. So
what I know. Wait, what have other people said?
Other people, it's normally kind of in a franchise kind of thing.
So
like Fast and Furious 5,
Bonds.
Bond movies.
Oh, okay.
Or Marvel stuff,
Marvels, that kind of thing.
horror stuff like Scream 5.
Scream 3 is actually great.
Which one is that one? That's the one with Jane
I don't
Silent
think
Bob,
I've seen
isn't it?
Scream 3.
That's the one where it's in Hollywood, where they're making a movie, and then it's got Parker Posey playing Gail Weathers, and then it's like, it's so meta. I think it's and Timothy Oliphant, I think is the killer, right? But again, I was so young, so I don't know if I was like, this is gonna be terrible. I think I just watched it like very earnestly, like, yeah, this is fun. But then I look back and it's like, that was fun.
That was a good moment.
I don't think it gets enough credit.
What about when you're reviewing like sequels or films? Are the ones you're like, and then you've literally come out thinking,
I'm trying to think, what are the big ones that have come out recently?
Well, so a lot of people say Blade Runner 2049 is better than the original. Some people say that was better than it should have been. Top Gun Maverick is up there. Don't Break My Heart there, Hannah, please. And
like a legacy sequel?
Whatever you...
I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it's just sort of one you went in and you weren't expecting very much. You came out and was like, I quite enjoyed
A big example here is Puss in Boots 2.
Oh, yeah. Puss in Boots 2, The Last Wish.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We came out of that quite liking
that. Great. Oh, God, I had one in my head and then it just went out of it. Wait a sec. You said Blade Runner, Halloween. No, there was something else.
Halloween's. Swords.
Well, Halloween, I thought, no, none of the swords. Oh, not Paddington ever, never Paddington.
Oh,
God,
really?
why so many people said it was? I hate Paddington. I literally I love Ben Whishaw and everything, but I want to punch him in the face. If he ever comes to me without Paddington as a bear, I will deport him. That's my...
Oh, I might go and have a little cry now.
I don't know what it is. I think I'm in such a minority, but it irritates me so much. Paddington is a big no for me. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't really think of I'm trying to think of like a sequel that I've seen recently that was surprised. I don't know.
It doesn't even have to be recently.
Smile 2 we watched recently, and we surprisingly really liked that.
Yeah, that was actually quite good. I think I like it because I think Naomi Scott did a really good job.
She's incredible.
She's great.
She's so good.
Pop star, and that definitely worked for me. It was really disturbing.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting with a sequel where I always think about what's so interesting about the Oceans franchise, right? It's this, they're in about Vegas and they go out to Vegas like, no, don't go away Vegas. And the third one's like, bring them back to Vegas.
Yeah.
And it kind of works. And I think certainly if you've got something where I think overcomplicated things, if you keep it simple, but in this one, I quite like it because that was a sort of rural, like outside. But what happens when you bring Smile 2 or you're in New York City?
Yeah.
And your most famous pop star. I mean, Lucas Gage in that was, Smile 2.
Yes.
That one.
Here we go.
Pleasantly. So I'm going to put Smile 2.
Get in.
Yes.
Love that.
Really thought that was great.
There was one jump scare with all the dancers in her apartment Dave literally jumped in my lap.
I try and be a brave boy a lot of the times because I'm starting to be like more of a scaredy cat in the older age. And people laughed at me, Hannah. They laughed at me in the screening. I could hear them giggling behind me. I actually grabbed Rich's leg, I think, as well.
You should come to the cinema with me in a mall. We're very loud. I've just remembered something as well, which I think was actually exceeded the first one. It's for scare, Insidious 2.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that? I remember going with my dad to see it, and we were shitting ourselves. We screamed so much. It was honestly because he goes into this like weird world, and there's this because it's the one with not Lucas. What's his? Oh no, Patrick
Wilson.
What's his name?
Patrick Wilson. Yeah.
Patrick Wilson.
They're very similar, those two people.
It's so scary. It's so scary. I thought that was, but that was maybe when I was in my 20s. I think I saw that, but that one was like, I didn't expect this to be so scary. But I think as a sequel, that was pretty good.
Have you felt like you're a taste change through the years and the job that you're doing?
I think I grew up in a household where it was like blockbuster videos every Friday and going to this multiplex cinema. You know, I didn't grow up watching like French New Wave or things like that. We were just very much like, you know, what was out. My parents had VHSs, so the things that I watched was stuff that they bought. So like the first time I saw Boogie Nights was sneakily watching it off my parents' VHS while they were at work. You know, Casino, like all these different things. So I definitely think my tastes have broadened in that I've got a more of a like openness to things that I would normally like foreign cinema, especially now. I'm half Tunisian and I care a lot about like Middle East and North African representation. So I will watch a lot more kind of Palestinian films or like Moroccan films or Lebanese films, Tunisian films, of course. So yeah, I think definitely it's really good that I feel that, you know, I didn't study film. I think everyone has a base note or like a base of what films they have and what's the beauty of it is that you can never possibly watch every film in the world. So it's always broadening out your education. And I guess I'm just trying to kind of be a bit more open-minded to everything. But I think I just don't really have a particular like, I like a genre. I'm very genre heavy. I love horror. I love everything, really. I can watch everything. You know what I don't love?
Tell me.
I'm bored of World War II. Please.
Okay.
Give me another war. I'm so bored of it.
I would like a World War II that doesn't happen in Europe.
Oh, God.
Or, you know,
Thank you.
Make it a world war. Like, it was the whole world.
Oh, let's talk about, well, maybe we talk about colonialism and how King Leopold did the biggest genocide towards people when he colonized Africa. Do we see those films? But my reason why we have so many World War II and World War I films is because the British are the goodies and the Americans are the goodies. And if you do anything else, it's like, are we the bad guys? Yeah,
we are the bad guys.
And no one wants to make that. People hate it. And now we're in a kind of, you know, Trump's the president. They're already doing things reducing DEI stuff around the world. Disney are changing their content labels on the certain products, right? It's you know, to talk about snowflakes, no one is a bigger snowflake than like the kind of agents of the patriarchy.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Not film related at all, but I love Tunisia, by the way. I lived in Tunisia for like 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I went to a hotel in Hammamet.
My God, I just went to Hammamet. Oh my God, wait, did you go to Yasmin?
Yeah.
No way, I went there last year. It was awful.
It's really touristy.
It's so depressing.
This was a long time ago, but it's like 20 years ago. But I lived and worked in a hotel for like 6 months.
I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same way. You left it.
Probably.
I've been writing a collection of short stories and I've set one of it on my experience. You know, it's not Tunisia's fault. It's just that Yasmin is like a purpose-built place for European tourists to come. They have a Carthage land.
There's loads of like Germans and French.
Is that where Star Wars was filmed? That's the only place I know in Tunisia.
No, and I've been there. That's in you have to get.
I've been there too.
Yes, you have to go down to Tozeur, and I got a 6-hour bus from, I guess, like Tunis or whatever. And you go in the desert.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I got driven there at night by the people that I was with. I'm surprised I'm still alive because they were driving crazy. I'm like, how did they know the way? And the guy I was in a car with, he was like chain smoking. And then we nearly hit a camel. And then apparently they stopped a bit, and then one of the other people we were with was like, "We're gonna let my kid drive." And because there's a big thing about like border things, I think Tunisia borders on like Libya on
Right.
one side.
It does, yeah.
Right?
And Algeria,
Yeah, I can't remember which side it is. Maybe Algeria, but they have border patrol, and then we got stopped by this border patrol, and it was like, "Why is your child driving this?" Anyway, we got there in the end. I got to be in Mos Espa, like on my own without tourists, just walk around. It was amazing. Yeah,
amazing.
It was really cool.
We got slightly arrested at gunpoint because we'd crossed into Algeria by accident.
It happens.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's sand. I mean, borders don't actually exist. That's what's stupid about it, isn't it? Like, they're just constructs. The land is everyone's. Anyway, sorry.
That's all right. I just had a memory of Ewan McGregor went for that bike trip and he went to there and there's a picture of him on the wall and no one knew who he was. And he was like, "Do you want a picture of me?" And they're like, "No, not really. No one." He's like, that's me.
That's Obi-Wan.
Brilliant.
That's so funny.
Hannah, what is your dream sequel?
Okay, so I told you that there should only be a sequel if it makes sense and there's a good story that could work.
Yeah.
And I have that story.
Okay.
I have the story, and it's Bend It Like Beckham.
Okay.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay.
Because, yeah. Do you like Bend It? Would you want it? You want it? Okay, so the idea is Bend It Like Beckham.
Go for it. Oh, yeah, you tell us.
We'll cover everything. Don't worry.
Okay, so with Bend It Like Beckham, the original is when she's going off to America to learn how to play football, right? She's just at the beginning of her career.
Yeah.
And she's, during her life, and we love it. Kind of ends well. Our parents accept her doing it. Awesome. Right. If you think about what the time we're in now, the Lionesses have won the World Cup. Women's football is so big right now. Where could Jess be right now? She could be a coach.
Yeah, yeah.
But then also she could be a Premier League coach.
Oh, yeah.
And who could be the coach for her rival? Keira Knightley's, can't remember her name. What's her character called?
Jules.
Could you imagine? Like, forget about Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Done. Dead,
Yeah.
Done.
We don't need him
I
anymore.
don't like that bit of the storyline in the first one.
I mean, that whole thing, it's like...
Bit creepy, isn't it?
I get it, Jess. I'm Irish.
Do you?
Okay, all right. But I will let it. Gurinder Chadha wrote it, so she put that line in. But I get what they're saying. There is a, history of Irish and, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, and that thing. Anyway, but my idea is like, okay, what if she comes back and it's like, she's got to do it. She's got to lead the team to win. But then also, can grapple with the reality of women's sport, of what it's like to do that, the money and funding. I saw this film recently called The Far Inside, which is about Clarissa Shields, written by Barry Jenkins. She's the boxer, the first woman.
Oh, yes, yeah. I just listened to your episode today. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And but the best thing about that was like, what happens after you get the Olympic gold? And she found that she couldn't actually afford to live because she didn't get any opportunities. So I'm like, well, there you go. What could be the thing? Could be a rivalry between Jess and Jules.
I think it'd be brilliant because like you said, the women's game from 2002 to now has changed dramatically and for the better. I'm going to be one of those people. Get in there quickly. And like you said, the women have won more trophies, got to more finals than the stupid men team, and it's booming, and their women's game is selling out massive stadiums. But these women are still being underpaid compared to what the men's game is earning, and they're a bunch of dickheads because they fall over all the time for no apparent reason. And I think it would be brilliant. I did wonder how you would get Jazz and Jules in there, but being two coaches would be good. Would you bring the director back?
You couldn't do it without Gurinder Chadha, obviously. I think, though, it'd be really great to get some really good, because I feel like there hasn't been a good football movie shot. I mean, there's some good things there. Do you think there's been really good films that show the game?
No.
We talked about this the other day. Like, there's because either actors can't play football or footballers can't act.
Yeah.
And so it never kind of works. We were talking about, like, we should watch all three of the Goal movies just for fun.
Oh, God,
but I don't really want to.
Or Green Street.
They're not football.
There's no football in that.
We have seen Green Street 2 though, so we can tell you there is.
Yes, we have seen Green Street 2, and it is terrible.
If you want to tell like the worst, I love this film, She's the Man, but the football in that is just hilariously bad. It's embarrassing, but I love that movie so much. Me and my friends at uni, we watched it every time we had a hangover, so basically 3 days a week.
Brilliant. That's the Amanda Bynes one, isn't it? With
Yeah,
Tatum.
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones is in it.
12th Night. It's 12th Night adaptation. I will say though, I think that also what's good is that I think there's been a conversation about how Asian people in the game are the racism or the expectation that they're not seen as footballers. So that could be a really interesting conversation about, you know, people being able to come up from certain ways, because there's like stereotypes about, you know, where you see more Asian. I think someone said the thing, oh, we see the South Asians in the IT department versus actually on the pitch. And I think that's kind of an interesting thing to get into. What if there was like a young protege coming up who wants to play football? She's having similar things. I don't know. Anything. You can do that, you know, have the younger person in and she's having her experience of like, how do I make it in this game? How can I afford to do it? You know, because again, that's so interesting about, again, women don't get paid as much as the men at all. So how do you afford to do it? Especially if you come from a household where you're single mother, right?
Yeah.
You have to buy kit. You have to do all these things. It takes money. I used to play basketball for England, actually under 16s, and it's a dedication. And parents spend money on that to get you going. I'm lucky that I have parents who are middle class who could afford to do that, but not everyone has the luxury of that, and it makes such a difference if, you know. So anyway, so I think there's a really interesting conversation. You get into the deep heart of it, and the good rivalry as well.
You definitely need that family side of storyline somewhere, because for me, Bend It Like Beckham, that's my favorite bits of that original movie, is the family, the Indian family.
Yes.
I got the chance a few years ago go to a preview screening of the stage show. Did you ever watch the stage show?
I didn't see the stage show.
Fucking awful. Like, really, I really hated it. I was worked at a company and they sent us, and then in the morning I had to do like a little review to tell them what was good and bad about it. And I was like, it's a lot. All the family stuff's really good. I hate everything about the footballing, and it was going on for far too long at one point. At one point I was like, oh, there's going to be no interval because it's like 10:30 and they were still going.
Yeah. You need to get a good cinematographer who could do that. Also, I just really want back Juliet Stevenson as Jules' mum, because I actually would love if there was like a kind of punchline to she thinks they're lesbians. But I'd love it if Jules actually turned out to be a lesbian or bi.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know what I mean? And then she's like really happy with it. She's like, my lesbian daughter, you know what I mean? So proud, you know what I mean? One of those people who's like overcompensates, like wears rainbows, like, you know what I mean? Like pride, you know, I'd love that. I just think it'd be really fun and cool. And I think, there's a story there that feels relevant to today. So
absolutely.
Let's do it.
Did you enjoy it back in 2002, or was it like a slow burner when you first watched it?
No, I absolutely adored it because I was a student athlete. Like I played a lot of sport. I was that sporty kid. So Love and Basketball, I don't want a sequel to that because that's I was thinking Love and Basketball. I was like, no, that film's perfect. But like, you have to remember, I've been like a kind of I moved from London to Doncaster. I was probably one of the only brown like people of color, like kids of color. Me and my brother Kareem. Everyone was white in our school, mostly. There's only a few people of color. So when I saw that film and saw this like beautiful Asian woman who, we're not the same ethnicity, but like her being a sports fan and loving it and tomboy, but also dressing up as well. And same with like Love and Basketball with the Sana Lathan's character, Monica. It felt like, oh my God, I actually feel seen on screen. So I have such a deep affection for Bend It Like Beckham. And also, I'm a Man United fan, so fucking love Beckham. I met Beckham. My mum, through her job, she ended up getting us going to see like it was like I think they were doing, well, actually, I got to see Man United v Arsenal, but you know that one where like Ronaldo had just started and Nistelrooy, there was a whole fight, like Vieira punched him or something, he got sent off. Yeah, and then Nistelrooy missed the penalty. Insane.
Oh, was it the Martin Keogh when he screamed in his face?
Yeah.
Oh, what a match to be at! Brilliant.
Yeah, I was there, and actually they were like, Beckham wasn't there anymore though at that point, but that's just another story. I was at Old Trafford. I was at what's the Man City's stadium called?
Now it's Etihad.
Yeah, but what was it?
It was Main Road.
Main Road, okay. So basically my mom got invited and it was like, you know when you used to do those England tournaments where it was like they do friendlies? And I think it was like Finland and Japan. And so we got invited there and I got to sit and watch like the England team like do a little kick around training. They were doing like crossbar challenge and I was sat down with my favourite player in the world, Paul Scholes. I absolutely love him so much. I still have this Paul Scholes jersey. And you know one. Wait.
Well,
wait.
this is my old man. I've got my name, but it's his number.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got a signed one. I've got
my
it from,
God, I'm so
ages ago. From that match, the one I told you about, the Nistelrooy match. The one
amazing. He's my favourite player because
yeah.
I'm short and ginger and he's short and ginger.
But he's just like such a strong, like, defending midfielder. And what was so annoying about the England team, they can never get them to work together. It was like Gerrard.
This is a great podcast now. This is great.
Lampard. Anyway, I'm just like obsessed with that era. But
it's also going slightly over my head a little bit.
Now I don't really watch football that much. I kind of did watch a lot of the England games, but I'm not really as into it as I used to. Because I used to watch it with my dad. It was the things, when we won the treble, that was like the most insane moment of my life.
Yep.
But we ended up meeting, so my dad's like there, and I'm like, oh my God, got my little shitty phone. This is like when I was 15, 16. And I'm like, Beckham's there and about to leave. And I was like, Dad, I really want a photo with Beckham. She goes, cool. And I actually had a digital camera, which are obviously all back now. Anyway, so I said, Dad, take a picture. So I stand and was like, hi, David. Can I have a picture? And he was like, yeah, sure. Because he's got that really nice. And then I take a picture and my dad's like there and he's like holding it up. He's like, great, got it. And I was like, right, thanks, Dad. You're right. Bye. Anyway, it goes off. I was like, Dad, show me the pitch. He's like, I turned the camera off.
Oh, no.
And I was like, then why didn't you turn it back on and say, I've turned... Yeah, anyway, so there we go.
Oh.
There we go. So this is why I think Beckham should actually be in it properly as well.
Yeah.
I think he would be in it.
Yeah.
I think he would
he'd do it. Yeah, he would.
So yeah, I think it'd be great.
I think now it would work because we normally one of the questions is when would you release the sequel? But I think it would work now, right? Like
100%. Wait, when's the next Women's World Cup or like Euros?
The Euros is this year,
isn't it?
Okay, Gorinda.
World Cup was 2 years ago because me and Rich actually watched the Women's World Cup together, didn't we, in Bognor Regis?
We did, yeah.
When we lost against Spain.
Yeah. Oh, what were you in Bognor Regis for?
Oh, a good friend of ours from uni lives there.
There we go.
We go there once a summer just to go. It's by the sea. So It's nice. It's normally quite sunny. It's a bit of an adventure. He's got a nice garden.
Oh, nice. There you go. That's good.
Basically, we have a little walk by the sea. It's nice. We eat lots of meat and we reminisce about times of when we went to uni and stuff. So it's kind of magical.
Meat? Do you just get cold ham?
Oh, no, it's always a barbecue.
Yeah, he cooks so much meat, it's unbelievable.
It's always the summer, so we have a massive barbecue.
Oh, nice.
It's not like we just sat there just eating cold cuts.
That sounds like a Tuesday night for me.
Yeah, but it's fun. But yeah, thank you for making me watch Bend It Like Beckham. Richard, you've watched Bend It Like Beckham before, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm just checking.
Yeah. I've seen it a few times, I think.
I think everyone owned the DVD at one point. It seemed to be one of those films that everyone owned, especially at uni. Everyone had Bend It Like Beckham in their collection.
Yeah. It's an acceptable football movie for me because there's not actually that much football in it. So it's fine. I'm not a massive football fan, really. So, yeah, the football movie with not much football in it is great.
I like it because I was a big All Saints fan and it's got Shaznay Lewis in it. So
it has got Shaznay in it.
Right. Yes. I saw her last year at Mighty Hoopla. And what's great about when you write the songs, you get to perform the songs. And so I got to listen to her to do Pure Shores, Black Coffee, like Never Ever. My one criticism about Better Man is the woman who played, whoever did Nicole Appleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not nail it. But they really overplayed her role in All Saints. They made out like as if she's the leader. Mate, you are a backing singer. I'm so sorry for what happened to you, but Shaznay Lewis and Melanie Blatt were the ones.
Yes.
It's so weird. They didn't even have an acknowledgement. It felt weird that they didn't even show Shaznay even when she's doing that speech thing. I thought that was very, very odd. Very odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not have
great. Yeah.
No,
they're amazing. First concert I went. Well, no, Bruce Spritt's the first concert I went with. First choice of concert I went to see All Saints, and my dad took me to that as well.
Where was that one? Because I I went to Birmingham.
Oh, did you? I saw Bruce at Birmingham. That was the first time I saw Bruce Springsteen as a kid in nosebleed seats.
Oh, wow.
But I saw I think I must have been 5 or 6 or something, where a whole family went. But All Saints, I went for my birthday in year 6. And my dad took us, and it was at Sheffield Arena, which is, I don't know, it's probably got a different, it's got everything. There's no names anymore. Everything's just names.
Is it
of
where Gladiators
brands.
is filmed now? Is that the same place? Or is that?
It is.
That's an arena, I think. Sheffield Arena, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bring this back to Bend It Like Beckham. Anyone got any ideas? I think we've gone.
Well, you know what they do in arenas? Wembley Arena has an arena.
Yeah.
There
and then,
you go.
hey, you know where
There
they
you
could
go.
shoot the film? They could do the final at Wembley Stadium.
That would be amazing, and they should. I think they
No.
should. They should.
Those were Hanna Flint's Unequal Sequels. What's another incredible episode? We get some of the most intelligent, incredible people on this podcast, and I'm blown away by it all the time.
Also, I think we're best friends now because we're very similar, it seems. We like the same things.
Yeah, you guys.
Man United supporter, Batman Forever, Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1. It's a fun... Oh, All Saints. We love All Saints as well, it seems. Hannah was a lot of fun to have on the podcast. And great picks that we enjoyed and to talk about. Obviously, Rich doesn't agree with her best sequel being Batman Forever.
I'm not a fan.
So, Val Kilmer Batman is always going to be my Batman because it was the first one I watched.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand that. I do. And I think it's probably because my Batman is
Keaton.
Not Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Yeah, my Batman's Keaton and always will be. Yeah.
And again, we recorded this before the sad passing of Val Kilmer. So we've watched a lot of Val Kilmer the last few weeks.
We have, and that's worked out quite nicely because that's been a nice thing to do, right?
It has been nice. And Batman Forever, I know it's not everyone's. Me and Hannah are aware of this. It's not everyone's taste of a good film, but it holds a special place in our hearts. Unlike the worst sequel of Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver.
That's one thing I definitely agree on. That is a shit movie.
What a horrible, horrible film that is. I'm so glad I watched it recently to review it and I didn't have to rewatch it again for all those hours.
If you want to know our thoughts on it, you can listen to the review that we did back when it came out.
Yeah, it's not good. It's rubbish. And it's fun hearing her experiences of having the first film being released, having this big release and that bombing and not doing well, as in critically not doing well because it did well on Netflix. And then the release of Rebel Moon Part 2, which was a much smaller release. So that was a lot of fun. Also a lot of fun was talking about her dream sequel to Bend It Like Beckham.
Yes. That sounds interesting. It's not a film I'd ever thought about for a sequel, but that could definitely work. Yeah, I can see it.
The women's game in football, or soccer, is now huge. It's changed dramatically in the 20-odd years, wherever it's been since the release of Bend It Like Beckham. And yeah, her idea of those two being opposite coaches, rivals maybe a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I'm not a football guy, but I would watch that movie.
Yeah, I know. The good thing about Bend It Like Beckham is that the football stuff is not the good stuff in the movie.
That's true. Yeah,
the good stuff in Bend It Like Beckham is the family stuff. On both sides, on the Keira Knightley side, dealing with her mum, who be brilliant, again, if she actually does turn out to be a lesbian, and the Indian side of the family, which is a lot of fun in those movies. And if they can kind of, I don't know, just not retread, but expand that story more, and like the women's game's got so good now and so big, there's just more to go. And Beckham's still massive, so we can still call it Bend It Like Beckham. So, there's definitely options to be there. But thank you, Hannah, for coming on and telling us your best, worst and dream sequel. We thoroughly enjoyed that chat. You're an incredible journalist. Go check out all her pieces. She writes pretty much everyone, it seems.
Go and read her book.
Go read her book.
Go and get Hannah's book now. It's called Strong Female Character.
Strong Female
Make
Character.
sure you go and get it. It's incredible.
And also go listen to her podcast with Fade to Black with her, Clarice, Amon as well. Great podcast.
Yeah. We need to get Am on now so we can complete the set.
We love completing sets of podcasters.
We do,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, we're going to really double down trying to get him on the podcast. But that is a fantastic podcast. Very interesting, very enthusiastic, very different to other podcasts a bit. Their chemistry really shines through. And obviously they all know what they're talking about because they're all brilliant critics.
They'd be like us if we were actually good
Yes, and they get to talk and interview incredible people as well. And they're all very incredible interviewers. So go check out Fade to Black as well. It's available everywhere. But yeah, Hannah's great. Thank you for coming on. What else you got to say, Rich?
I was just going to say, I'd like you all to go onto social media now and send us all a message. Type in Unequal Sequel on your favourite social media, whether that be Blue Sky or Threads or Instagram or wherever you go. Type in Unequal Sequel, send us a little message. Let us know what you thought of Hannah's picks. We'd really love to hear from you. And we'll read out all your messages in our end of month roundup and let you know what we think about things too. So that would be lovely. We're not on the bad one though, so don't go on that. Just ignore that. We don't go that the Bad Bird website. We don't go on that. Or if you don't do social media, just get on your emails. We're unequalsequel@hotmail.com. Drop us an email. Let us know what you thought of Hannah's picks. Maybe you love Batman Forever too. Maybe you love Rebel Moon. Maybe you're a Snyder bro. Let us know what we thought so that we can disagree with you strongly. While you're there, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little review, 5 stars would be amazing. It helps people find the podcast. The more reviews we get, the more people can find it easily. Let us know what you think on those reviews on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. That would be brilliant. Also tell your friends, because we'd love for more people to listen. We're always looking for more listeners. So do tell your friends, let them know about the podcast. We'd love to welcome more people into the family. And if you want to become a real part of the family, come and join us as a super special slicer over on anotherslice.com/unequal sequel, where for just $2.99 a month, you can join our subscription service where you get 3 extra podcasts. So you'll get extra sequel sessions to all of our interview episodes. You'll get Disenfranchised, where we talk about movies that should have had a franchise but didn't. And you'll get Box Set Mentality, where we watch a whole box set and we tell you all about it.
Perfect. Really good.
Happy days.
Yeah, I think we're nailing this now. Yeah, we are greedy for listeners, so please spread the word and tell everyone that we're great. We are entering the Independent Film Podcast Awards in UK again. Ooh. We are going for Best TV and Film this year. We are going for it,
man.
Other years we're like, other podcasts are better. We might not be in there. We reckon we're in for a good shout this year because we think we're a good podcast. Is that picking ourselves up too much? You've got to be confident, haven't you?
We did say a couple of weeks ago that we are going to start calling ourselves the self-declared #1 podcast in the UK. In the world. Yeah. So if anything, it's not bigging ourselves up enough.
Okay, cool. So we've got to pick up out some bits to send to the judges. So if anyone got ideas about our best moments of the last year, please get in contact.
What have your favourite bits been? Especially you guys over on Another Slice. Tell us what your favourite parts of the podcast have been, and what we should submit to the judges. Yeah. We'd love to know.
Cool. Got nothing to say. So it's a bye-bye from me. Bye-bye. And it's a bye-bye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one. 6 for this one. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
We're halfway through, aren't we, bud?
I think next week is halfway through. I was just checking. Number 6. That was number 5. It's getting squeaky bum time.
I know, mate. We're getting closer and closer to that 100th episode.
Oh, my. I've started making lists now, so I'm going to be well prepared.
What was this? Episode 90, I think this was.
Is this?
No, 89. I'm wrong. It was episode 89 of the interview episodes. Obviously, we've done.
Oh yeah, I've lost count of the other ones. Other people seem to celebrate big milestone. We're like, you can keep having these for free.